This is Hannibal back here for my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. So let's jump right into it. The Rock is going to be on the next three SmackDown events starting tonight in Phoenix, Arizona, which is sold out with the setup they have, 11,497. Which they could actually probably fit more in there with a smaller stage because that arena holds closer to 18,000. He's also going to be in Dallas next week and Memphis the week after, his old stomping grounds. Raw this week did 12,218 fans in San Jose. WWE is getting regularly over 10,000 for TV tapings, which was not happening a few years ago. Elimination Chamber last week in Perth, Australia had 47,921 fans is the legit number. It was the second largest pro wrestling crowd ever in Australia. The first was 5,009. Oh, sorry. The first was in Melbourne in August 2002 at Colonial Stadium, 56,000. For The Rock against Triple H against Brock Lesnar three-way main event. It did have the lowest pay-per-view buys ever for a WWE show, 5,900. But most people, I mean, that's worldwide, I think. But most people in the U.S. have the Peacock, which is way cheaper than buying it on pay-per-view. TKO, the parent company of WWE, held an investor call and said WWE generated 1,326,000,000 last year. Or sorry, yeah, that is true. And UFC generated 1,292,000,000 in revenue. But there was more profit for UFC. UFC had 196 million in sponsorship revenue alone, which is crazy. Virgil passed away. He was actually 72. A lot of people were reporting that he was 61. He was actually 72. He had two strokes last year and was suffering from dementia. His sister had said, who had corrected things, that he was 72, also said that the reports that he had stage 2 colon cancer were false. Apparently, the WWE settlement in the MLW lawsuit was 20 million. And apparently, the reason they were most likely to settle this was to avoid discoveries where a lot of information about the company could have gone public. Nick Kaninsky, former WWE wrestler, said he was sexually harassed by Terry Garvin in the 80s, former WWE management. Tama Tonga, Haku's adopted son, 41, from New Japan Pro Wrestling, has signed with WWE. He's part of The Rock's family, so he could very well be involved in the bloodline. AW Revolution, built around Sting's retirement this weekend, is sold out with over 16,000 tickets. Tony Khan did a media call that said AEW is still not profitable, but he expects with the new TV rights deals that it will be. There's issues with CMLL wrestlers getting work visas in the U.S. right now. Their work visas might be temporarily revoked. They'll still be able to appear in Canada, though. Darby Allin says he's going to start climbing Mount Everest in April. El Hijo de Vikingo is out with a torn meniscus. Collision, March 16th here in Ottawa, only has 2,443 tickets out. That's in a 20,000 seat building, their debut in this town. Dynamite in Toronto, 3,707 tickets out. Dynamite in Quebec City, 2,077 tickets out. Collision in London, 3,206 out. It's interesting that London has more tickets sold than Ottawa, where Ottawa is a much bigger town than London. Dynamite in Worcester, Mass, only has 1,761 tickets out, May 3rd. Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, sorry, only has 1,300 tickets out. Obviously not a hot ticket. AW Collision in Springfield this past week did 2,241 tickets. AW Dynamite Collision combined tickets February 28th in Huntsville, Alabama was 3,413. Billy Jack Haynes was released from the psych ward and has been charged with second-degree murder. He supposedly has no bail set. The death was related to allegedly shooting his wife of a couple years, Janet Bearcraft Haynes. She was 85, suffering from dementia. There's still no cause of death on Ole Anderson's death. He was 81 years old. He had been in hospice care, suffering from dementia. TNA apparently wants to shoot television every week in the same place. So obviously, they want to cut costs since they don't do any house shows. I mean, I don't know if they've ever made money. I've heard Dave Meltzer say he's not sure if they've ever turned a profit. How they're still around is beyond me. I guess they're owned by Anthem and it's content for Anthem. But I guess they're either looking at Full Sail University or Santino Morella's gym outside of Toronto, which is literally a wrestling school where they have done a lot of tapings before. But like, I've done the tour there. It's a nice facility, but it's a wrestling school that has a ring and bleachers. I guess if they did do the tapings in Florida and Orlando, it would be cheaper tickets overall for flight tickets for talent. Toronto has a cheap airport, but it's still like international, and most of their talent is from the US. Full Sail would look a little bit better than the wrestling school, but I don't know. I wish them the best under their new management. USC in Mexico City over the weekend had 21,546 tickets sold. It was the biggest crowd ever in Mexico. Good afternoon to you, Dave. RIP to NWO member Vincent. Jeff Jarrett said 2008 and 2009 were the only years where TNA made a profit. That could be believable. Those were Spike TV years. That was before Hogan came in, who just drained the company. So I believe that is possible. Very possible. Well, I wish everybody a great afternoon, and I'm going to do more I'm going to do more detailed reports on the careers of Ole Anderson and Virgil later today.